Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my creative life. I'm creating a card today using some products from Gently Schoolcraft where we make pretty crafty things. Now, this is a die set from DoCrafts and it's called Knight and Dragon, which is exactly what it is, a knight and dragon, and some accessories. Now, with the magic of video, I'm going to cut these out. So here we go. I cut out a black cardstock knight, and then I used silver glitter cardstock for the sword and the shield. And I thought the details of this were so great. I hope you were able to tell. Sometimes with video, it's hard to tell. The first thing I did is I went through my scraps and I looked for paper that I thought kind of had this medieval look. And I really did like those. But then I thought, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to pull out some of my other scraps and I'm going to create a scene in the background. So this sky with the clouds paper, perfect, of course. And then I pulled out 3 different shades of green and I'm going to create just, like the landscape from that. So the first thing I did is I cut this down a little bit. If you notice, the edges were a little fuzzy and I don't want fuzzy edges. That white piece of cardstock is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of white cardstock, and it is a 1/4 inch smaller on both sides from the standard A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I went ahead and filled the whole thing with adhesive. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but I actually have adhesive sheets, and this would have been a really good time to use it. But, it's not on my desk, so I didn't want to go grab it, and I'm sure that's probably how you think too. What's in front of me is what I'm going to use, right? But next time for sure. I just used some scissors and I just did some little wonky curves here and there because I wanted to give the effect of hills, which I think this really does. And it's just fun. There's no perfect pattern pieces that it needs to fit. I'm just kind of eyeballing everything, and it takes me a minute to kind of stumble through to see how I'm going to do this. But basically, I'm just going to put some adhesive on the top portions because the rest should stick to the card because of all the adhesive that's already on there. And you can tell as I'm going along, that is exactly what's going to happen. So let me talk a little bit about Gently Schoolcraft. If you haven't heard already, if you're not a follower of mine or a subscriber. So Gently Schoolcraft is a website that has gently used and new items. Now, when I say new items, I don't mean new like the latest and greatest, but I mean new like never been used. So this is a perfect place to look. Like, let's say you are Stampin' Up! Fan and you missed out on a certain stamp set. It might be here. I'm not saying it will be, but this is a great place to look because again, it might be a new or gently used and it's retired or no longer available, and somehow she may have gotten a hold of it. So those are the type of new items. Also, sometimes people just get rid of things, whether it's their own personal stash or sometimes a relative or anything like that. I know if you're like me, I get friends all the time that say, look, I bought all these things. I'm not going to make them. Do you want them? And then I will either take them or I won't. Usually I do because I always know somebody who will take them. So it's that same kind of mindset. So again, new, gently used or gently used, and it's a great place to look. But I will warn you, if you go to the site, make sure if you see something you like, you need to snag it because it's not a big box store. So there's not going to be multiple quantities of them. There may just be one. There may just be a couple. So you don't want to miss out. If you see it, you might want to get it. And I'm telling you, the prices are very budget friendly. So definitely check it out. And I'm going to have in the information box my name, the exact spelling, because if you use it in the coupon code section, you'll get an additional 10% off. That's a pretty good deal, folks. So anyhow, go check it out. Definitely the links will be in the information box, as well as a link to my blog, which will have other pictures or any other information I feel like you might need, or just a place to read and look at pictures versus the actual process, which we're doing here. But so I'm just using liquid adhesive to put down the sword and also the knight, and this just makes it just really easy because there's a lot of portions that are smaller or thinner. And so if I would use my ATG it would be kind of messy because I need smaller areas, and I really like using this glue, precision glue gun. It works perfectly. Now I'm going to use kind of a thinner looking foam adhesive to put that shield, because why not? Add a little dimension to it. But look at that. Isn't that so cute? I was so happy with the design in the front. I'm glad I went this way instead of just a solid piece of patterned paper, which really isn't a problem, but I just think this is just so much fun. And hey, why not use all the scraps? We're keeping them so we can use them. Why not? I used a natural color cardstock for the card base, but as I'm looking at it, I think to myself, it needs a border. So I'm going to do a really thin white border, and I think it just makes the whole thing just pop a little bit more, almost frames it. So it looks really good. I really do like it. So please, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I do post a couple of videos a week. I tried to do at least one that's scrapbooking, and the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the Command Center, which is the name of my craft room and also my blog. And I do have playlists for different types of projects. So if you're only interested in, let's say, card making, then you can always just look at card making videos. But anyhow, I hope you decide to check out my channel and subscribe to that. And if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them. I do answer comments and questions pretty regularly. I'm using a brand new white pen that I just purchased. And if you're thinking the same thing I am, where's the white ink? It's just so frustrating. Sometimes I get white pens and they work beautifully, and other times like nothing. So I actually even use this pen in the store, not this particular one, but the style, and it was flowing and it was beautiful. So I bought one. Yeah, it's not flowing. It's not beautiful. I probably just need to use it a little more, but you can see it a little bit. It's hard to tell in the video, but there is a little bit of white in there, and I hope you could tell on those final pictures at the end. I'm just using a standard happy birthday, nothing fancy across the bottom. I am stamping a sample here because sometimes, because you have to mount these stamps, and I think to myself, is it in the middle? Is it straight? How am I going to hold this? Look, it's stamped beautifully. I'm going to try it again. And I also think to myself, if it doesn't work, I have that white one to kind of fall back on. But guess what, folks? It stamped perfectly. Look at this. You're going to see when I lift it up, like, aha! Look at that. Oh, I was so happy. But there we go. And that is it, folks. I didn't want to do much more than that because in my mind, this is a masculine card. I'm actually going to be sending it to my nephew, whose birthday is coming up next week. And I think it's just perfect. And I hope you do too. Thanks again for watching. I truly do appreciate it. Again, don't forget to look at the information box for that link to Jen Lee Schoolcraft web store and also to my blog. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Bye.